Hey guys. So, wow, wait, you guys are already here? Hold on a second. I'm using a new system, everybody, so bear with me because I'm trying to get used to a whole system. So I don't know who's on already and who's not on already. So if you can start to just type in where you're tuning in from. And if this is your first time or if you're like a groupie, which really makes me excited. Ooh, good. So far it says sounds great. Oh boy, that makes me thrilled. Last time, I'll wait for a couple more people to join on, but last time I was on, I really had a lot of sound issues. And I can't even tell you, like everyone thought I was calm. So my mom even commented saying like, you're so calm on this and like you handled that so well. And I'm like, I did? Because inside I was like gonna lose it, batshit totally crazy. So I was totally furious because we have a really great setup here and there's no reason for not to have sound issues. So that's awesome. Ooh, someone said see you tomorrow. That's exciting. I just saw it. See you tomorrow. I guess I will see you tomorrow, Angela. Second time, Northern New Jersey. Welcome, Beth. Thank you so much. Kyle, you were at meditation last night. That was pretty intense for you. I really enjoyed watching your process last night. So, oh my God, I get so excited. I hear all these like pops that tells me that you're on. So it's exciting. So, welcome. I love doing this Facebook Live stuff because I get to feel connected to you, but I also get to be in my pajamas while I'm connected to you. So it makes me feel really totally comfortable. I have a long commute and I go from my bedroom and down 2 flights of steps. And this is my studio in my basement. For those of you who are new, my name is Deborah Hanlon. I am a medium, and every time I explain that, I always have like this little like, ooh, like I hate that title because I really call myself the anti-medium because I'm somebody who really needs proof to believe that the other side and miracles exist. And I wish I wasn't wired like this. I wish I was much more tuned in as far as just believing on blind faith, but I am not wired that way. I absolutely need proof for myself, for my own loved ones. And of course, when I'm giving readings, I want your proof because when I know that I don't know you and know nothing about you, and I get things that like makes total sense, that's proof. So every single day of my life, I get proof of the afterlife, which blows my mind. And it's so encouraging and settling and enthralling to me because I want to know more and I want to know what more can we tap into. So the deceased have as my new book, you guys, it's right behind me. Look, see, isn't that pretty how it like matches my background? Is all about that. It's all about proof of the afterlife. And in my mind, because I see people in their deepest, darkest moments of grief and needing the proof and the connections and knowing that your loved ones are still around you, I love doing that. But then I wonder as a human being and as a person on the planet, like, then what? Then what? What happens to these people? Like, great, you've gotten some proof of your loved ones, but how did it help you? Or what more can we help you with? Because my whole goal is really to help the living expand and live better. Because the deceased taught me, like, really, don't worry about it. It's all good. It's all good when we cross over. So I kind of want to bring more of the consciousness of the deceased into the living realm. And that's what my new book, it's over here. My new book is about the afterlife and how we can create heaven on earth, meaning how we can get over all the BS that we still have to go through on top of our grief. So we experience a death and a loss, and that's just horrific. But then we still have to pay bills. We still have to show up to work. We still have to be present for our children, our spouses, our significant others, and our siblings. We still have life happening. And, I'm a part of life. I'm in it. I'm going through all those same things too. And I wonder, how can we make this better? And that's all I want to know is, how can we make this better, this realm? Because while I'm in it, I know so much about the afterlife that I'm really, really good. I'm really, really settled and happy and secure about the afterlife. It's this realm that I'm like, WTF, like every day. What is this about? Because as much as I know about the afterlife and as much as I do trust and believe because of very firm proof, I still think, oh my God, this is crazy. I mean, I hear your stories. I hear what you've all gone through. I know what I've gone through. And I have to wonder, like, really, what is this about? Oh, Dot is on. My mom is on. Everybody say hello to Dot. I just saw that she joined. I don't know if she just joined, but look at that. I can add her little comment here. So, hey, Dot. Hey, Mom. So my whole focus is about people and the living, because the deceased have completely taught me how to live better, which doesn't mean perfectly by any means. I love when people say hi to Dot. It makes me so excited. It makes me happy for her. So this Facebook Live is just really about information, learning, getting to know me, learning about me, and an opportunity so that I can just connect with you and answer some questions, because I don't even know what people want to know anymore, because this is my day in, day out. And I think, like, doesn't everybody know that? And the answer is no, not at all. So one bit of information that's extremely important is that I do have a YouTube channel. Yes, I do. And I'm just putting it up in the comments, so you will see the link for my YouTube channel there. I started that many, many years ago. I filmed a lot of your questions. So questions about dreams and energy and the other side and where are they? All of that is on my YouTube channel. So you can look up by question some pretty generalized questions that you might have. It's all there. Please click subscribe on that so that I can, know that people are interested in that. And from now on, I believe, if this all works properly, I believe that all of my Facebook Lives like this will get uploaded or downloaded, or I don't know, some loaded, to my YouTube channel. So if I do it all right and all the connections are good, then it'll be up there. So the YouTube channel is sort of getting reinvigorated and back and alive. Hold on, I'm seeing a question. So before I get to those questions, just if you haven't done so already, just tell me where you are tuning in from, and if this is your first time, or if you're like a groupie. One, because I just need to serve my ego. I need to be like, what? People like me? Are you serious? Because I'm really an a-hole a lot of the time. I'm definitely my own a-hole in my own brain, where I tell myself, like, those annoying things that, the limitations and, oh, you can't do this and, oh, can't you do that? And I think we all do that. So it's really exciting to hear that people are excited about this. I'm seeing so many questions. Let me just go through my list too. YouTube channel, my Amazon link, the book. I really do need your Amazon reviews. So if you have read it already and you purchased it off of Amazon, please submit a review. I want a real review. I mean, I really don't want negativity. Who wants like mean reviews? But I want your honest opinion reviews if they're good, only if they're nice about me. But I want those reviews. One, I need them for certain places like Omega Institute in Rhinebeck, New York. Hello. I'd really love to teach there, and it's time for me to teach there. It's been decades that I need to be there. But they need to see that Amazon, there's interaction. They need to see that there's interest in my work. So I've got to kind of prove it. And prove it I will. Omega, I will. So if you did purchase it from Amazon, if you could take like 30 seconds and just write something about it, whatever you got out of it, or even if you were hoping for one thing and didn't get that, I really do want honest feedback, if it's gentle and kind and nice and loving, please. So let's see. Let me grab this question from Sherry that I posted right here below at the galleries. How do you handle if many people are coming through to you at once? How do you choose to read? It's the loudest. You know your family members. It's whoever is the loudest. So if off. It's the one who gets my attention, just like here in real life, which doesn't mean that like quiet energies and loved ones who like were private or like weren't outspoken. A lot of times someone else will get my attention for them and kind of give the floor over to them. I have that happen a lot. For those of you who are at my Poughkeepsie Grand Hotel in early September, a woman's neighbor's son came through only so that she can get the rest of her family through because they weren't going to take over. But then, ironically, their whole family totally took over the whole night. So I don't really choose it. Sometimes I have to kind of choose the order. So if I'm feeling like there's 3 or 4 different people, I go with the one who is the loudest because that just helps me and it makes it easier for me, unless someone is just very Oh, I just saw my mom's comment about Omega. I said, someone wrote, Omega, you will love her. And I'm like, oh, that's so nice. Who said that? And it was my mother. Of course, it was my mom. Oh, my God, that's hilarious. I can't even find it to post it. I saw GK's. Look at this. He and I worked together today. So the part of me that I was talking about before is like I'm an a-hole. Like everyone's like, oh my God, Deborah, you're so nice and so loving and so kind. And I really, really am those things. But I'm really, really not too. You know how it is, ladies. So you're home. I'm tired. I have a certain threshold of information that I can hold in my brain, a certain amount of technical shit that I can do, and then I shut down. And I was kind of at that shutdown point earlier today with Greg where we're like, we got to get the sound thing right. And he totally pushed me and kept me going and got it done. So thank you. Okay. So yeah, I was pretty good. I wasn't that bad this time, but I really lost it after I lost the sound last time. Let's see. Let me see your questions. Yes, I want to buy your book, but I'm going to go to your signing and might purchase there. Perfect. I have a lot of book signings coming up, and they'll still be added to my calendar. The next one is October. Oh, crap. I think it's like the 17th. I forget. It's a Tuesday night in October at Inner Vision in Rock Tavern. And my dear, dear friend Deborah Sheaf owns Inner Vision, and I will be there. And I'll do a little bit of a reading beforehand, a read from the book so that you can kind of get a sense of it. And then I love meeting you. I love hearing from you. I like signing your books because I swear I have visualized myself signing a book since I'm about 4 years old. So I didn't know what the book was going to be about. Actually, when I was a young kid, I used to think I had written a book for divorced kids because I was a kid from divorce. And my father moved out to LA when I was about 10 years old. And my mom and I obviously lived here in New York. And I named that book I tied my shoes in New York, and then I tied my shoes in LA and then laced them in New York because that was how it felt for me when I'd get on the plane after leaving my dad for the summer. And it was like so mind-boggling to me that I had this whole summer at my dad's, and that was my dad and my stepmom's life, and that was one life. And then I would come home and I'd be in another whole life. And it was like I tied my shoes this morning in LA and now I'm unlacing them in New York. So I thought I was going to be all known for this great book written by a 12-year-old about divorce, and then I just never followed through with it. I probably should do that. But I visualized my name on a cover, and the fact that it's here is just thrilling. Let's see. Oh my gosh. It's so crazy that I keep seeing my mother's responses to this. Hold on. She used to write on our lampshades. I have a story that I wrote all over everything. Walls, inside my lampshades. And I think I wrote my name, and then I think I was approached Deb, you can't write inside the lampshades. And I think I blamed it on my older brother who wrote my name. And he's 9 years older, so he would have been 12 for me blaming him. So that's awesome. Yeah, I wrote everywhere. I always had a pen in my hand. Let's see. Oh, I like this one. Carrie, is there a way to ask your past loved ones to come to you in your dreams? Yes, I discussed this on my YouTube channel, which I mentioned earlier, and the link is in the comments here. And I will also put the link up again after this as a Facebook post for those of you who want to see it. But yeah, there is a way. I attended a workshop at Omega. Hello, Omega. Where are you? By Kevin Tedeschi, who also wrote like the little blurb on the back of my book, the recommendation. He is the CEO of the ARE Center in Virginia Beach, which is the Edgar Cayce Foundation. And he taught an amazing workshop on dreams. I am someone who has only had 2 visitation dreams my entire life. I do not dream of the other side. And I always joke that I think they give me a break during my sleeping hours. And he taught about how to harness your dreams for any kind of intuitive information, whether it's from the other side. So I would encourage you to take his courses at Omega, encourage you to meet him because he's outrageously cool. But what you really need to do, the very abridged version, is before you go to bed at night, you can write out a question to them and just kind of hold that question in your hand and really just go to sleep, just repeating that question over and over. And you have to remember that in your dreams, you might get the answer to that question from your direct loved one, but you might not have seen them, but there'll be some sort of symbology involved. So it is a process, and it does take some discipline, because I was doing it right after the class I took with Kevin, with discipline every night. And I could not believe the intuitive information I was getting for myself in dreams. And I'm not somebody who remembers dreams at all. I didn't get a visitation from someone who crossed over but I didn't ask for that. That wasn't what I was looking for. So I hope that answers your question. Hello, Danielle. Let's see. What's wrong with me? I love that question. Deb, what's wrong with me? I can't mesh with anybody. Well, people kind of SUCK sometimes. That's a heavy one. That's a personal intuitive question. I don't want to start taking personal intuitive questions because it'll be absolutely mayhem. But that's something, Ginny, that I do think you absolutely should attend my meditation class, because we talk more deeply about yourselves, and that's the time and place where I can really, really focus in and help you focus in on your stuff. So there's not a short answer to that, except the cool thing is that you are actually even asking the question, which is huge. It means that you are having some sort of awareness that you yourself are not meshing with others. Sometimes people always say they're not meshing with me, but you phrased it that you're not meshing with others. So that's, to me, that's a powerful statement, and some awareness is there. But work is to be done if that's bothering you. And I really would suggest my meditation class for that, because that's when we can dive down real deep. Danielle's question, do we have spiritual guides? And if so, how can I connect or understand them? I've been surrounded by dragonflies lately, and I'm not able to understand the meaning they're trying to send. Great question. Yes, I do believe we have spiritual guides. I don't typically and will never advertise that I can connect you with your guides, because, again, I go back down to that proof. I want proof. And there's that logical part of me that says to myself, I can tell you, I can hear that, oh, your guide's name is Paul. And I'm just using this as an example. So Danielle's, I don't know if your guide's name is Paul, but run with me here. Your guide's name is Paul, and he's telling you he's that chutzpah behind everything you do. There's that logical part of me that goes home at the end of the night, and I'm like, what the hell did I just tell someone that their guide is Paul? How do I really know that? So I don't like that realm. Same thing with angelic realm. I just don't like it because I can't get the proof, and that's just the way I'm wired. Sometimes those things absolutely come through in a reading, and I trust it and I express it, but I definitely am not the go-to person just to discover your guides. However, I have a story that when I started early on in understanding that, oh my gosh, I'm understanding information from the other side. I started with John Edwards' meditation CDs. Actually, they were tapes. They were cassette tapes, and there were 6 of them. And my favorite one was Meeting Your Guides. And I popped in this tape and I would listen to it. And I remember the first time it was all about meeting your guides on the other side, or not necessarily on the other side, just meeting your guides. And I'm in this meditation. If those of you who have attended my meditation class, you've heard this story 1,000 times. But I'm listening to this meditation, and I'm so excited because they're walking us up to this house. And they say that when you see the house, envision the door. And when you see the door, open the door. And when you open the door, your guide is going to be standing there. So my ego was involved in this meditation, and I thought, cool. Because I bet my brother who passed is going to be my guide. And I can't wait to see him. I can't wait to see what he says. So I opened the door in the meditation, and standing in front of me was my very miserable alcoholic neighbor, who was not really a nice guy all the time. He was a terrible alcoholic, and he was my very, very dear friend's father. And I saw him, and I thought, what WTF is Mr. So-and-so doing as my guide? And I was like, at first, really pissed. I didn't want him to be my guide, because I'm like, really? Like, I don't want that. I wanted like something spiritual and amazing. I didn't want this like memory. Well, I tell you what, that blew my mind. One, because I know I didn't make that up, because if I made that up, I certainly wouldn't have chosen him. He had very, very amazing information for me at that time that was super, long story short, extremely like spot on and stuff I couldn't debate. And I believe he is a guide to me. So long story short, I believe that you should do a guided meditation, or really look to develop that yourself, because I think there's nothing that beats an actual connection yourself than a medium or psychic or someone telling you so-and-so is your guide. And I had it on my plans. I have 8 million projects up in the air right now, but one of my projects is absolutely to meet your guides and do a guided meditation CD. So you might have just lit some fire under me to do that. And the dragonflies, sometimes I hear this all the time from all of you who say, Deborah, so-and-so is trying to get in touch with me, and I know they're there. I don't know what they're trying to tell me. I don't know what their message is. And that's something that can almost haunt a lot of people, because they're like, I know they're there, but they're trying to tell me something. And I can assure all of you, if there's something they want you to know, they have no problem getting that information to you. So it might not come from this spiritual, ethereal, very cool, miraculous seeming way, but if you are not supposed to drive home one way, you're going to get the message that you had to take a U-turn or a detour. So don't ever worry that if they're trying to tell you something, they can't get that information to you, because that's not true at all. They have no problem getting information they absolutely need us to. Really what they want and what we want, it's a co-creation, is just knowing you're there. I just want that wink. I always call them winks instead of signs, because I've learned over the years that if I call something a sign, then people only look for that very sign and not see anything else. So a wink is that little nudge, like you are dragonflies, is that little nudge that's like, oh, you're there. Okay. Thank you. Got it. So trust that they're not trying to get you information that you're not getting or understanding. It's just like a wink. Like, I'm here. You're on the right track. I'm supporting you. Keep going. It's those messages. So don't ever worry that we're not getting the message, because we absolutely will. Whoa. What's this? Okay. See, this shit, you can't make this shit up. Sorry, I hope kids aren't around. So, and those of you who know me know that I have no filter, and you can ask my mom. I really never did. I said the F word my first time at 8 years old, and it was like a totally amazing experience for me to say that. But anyway, and I never heard my parents curse ever. So it's not like I came from a cursing family. However, the last question was all about signs and winks and guides and all that, and my brother. Janine, thank you for asking this, and it's pretty freaking ironic that you said all the signs I see real. Same time I see 11:17, which is the exact time your grandmother passed. You'll see butterflies, white feathers, pennies on the floor, cardinals, etc. First of all, 11:17 is one of the most significant little winks that I get every day in multiple ways all the time. For very specific reasons that I won't even go into. But 11:17, that very number, is super significant as a wink for me that someone in particular on the other side is around me. And it is the wink that I request of this person to show me. And I'll see it on a mailbox. I'll see it on the car in front of me. I'll see it, on the time of the clock. So it's really cool that you asked that. So I also have an 11:17 wink big time. It's not coincidence that I just saw that, because a lot of the questions are just kind of scrolling by very fast, but that one got me. So that's my wink. So thank you. So how do you know if they're real? I always tell you, you know a wink is real or the signs are real by how you feel when you receive it. So it might not last you days, months, weeks, and years. It's just that moment of, thank you. You're here. Got it. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know you're here. So it's just, that's how you know. That's how you know. And if you are doubting it, like I always do, I always test it. I always ask a certain family member to give me 3 signs. I don't ever say what those signs should be. And I encourage you not to say specific. I'm sorry, someone just said haha dot, so I wanted to know what that was about. But not to say specific signs. Like, don't say like, okay, if you're here, show up as a deer crossing my path. Like, you don't want to do that. So just say, thank you for letting me know you're here. And then let that be. So my mother wrote, yes, and now we all use the F word all the time. We do. I know. I know. It just feels really good. We do. But I was not raised on the F word, by the way. Just redeeming my mom's mothering skills. She'd never used it. All right. Isn't this cool that I can post the question here below? I'm like really excited about that. Melissa, I remember meeting you, Melissa, up in Albany, and you waited patiently for me to set up for the book signing, and you were the first one there. So I remember exactly who you are. Do we have multiple guides for different areas of our lives? For example, one guide helps us with our relationships and one with money. Yes. Oh, great question. Yes, we do. So, you know how in the Catholic religion, there's like the patron saint, like St. Anthony, if you pray to St. Anthony. And for those of you who don't know, St. Anthony is like this patron saint of lost objects or lost something. And we pray to him. And I say we, I'm not necessarily Catholic. I'm not one. I'm like everything. But, we pray to him like, okay, St. Anthony, like, where's my glasses? Okay, St. Anthony, oh my gosh, where are my keys? St. Anthony, blah, blah. So you pray to this particular saint for that particular cause. St. Christopher's the patron saint of police officers, I think. I forget. I really should know that one. Dot can weigh in on that. But, different saints. But our guides and our family members operate the same way. So, in a reading, you might have never met your grandfather, but your grandfather say he was an accountant or just very good with his money. Maybe he's not an accountant. And I will have heard in messages that, he wants you to pray to him when you need guidance on financial matters. So yes, you can have patron saints, so to speak, but they're even your family members, and specific guides for certain things. So yes, you can. How do you know what they are? It's how you feel. What's your hunch? What's your gut? What do you think? What do you feel? Some of them you'll know exactly what they're for, and others are like, I don't really know what they're there for. And then you can dive in and delve into that question with them to see further. The no filter makes me fun. That's one word people say about me. Fun. Let's see. Oh my gosh, really? Janine said when I said 11:17, there were 117 people tuning in. I love it. Love it. Love it. My gosh, my mom is making me laugh. Why is she being so nice to me? I am nice to you, Dorothy. I am nice to you now. I'm nice to you. Okay, here's a good one. Jacqueline, I visited several mediums over the years and I've been told I'm hard to read. How can I make myself easier to read or more open, I guess? I love you. I love you for asking this question. Few things here. I am very hard to read, which you would think I would not be hard to read. I'm a total a-hole when it comes to readings because I'm like, that's not enough for me. Like I have very, very high standards and I know what's real and I don't. So I'm a hard read. What can you do? Very important because I've sat with many, many people who are hard to read. Many, many people who want to hear that one thing, right? So we all have that one thing that we want a medium to tell us. We probably have 10 things, but we all have that one thing. And I'm sure as you're hearing me say that, you instantly identify what your one thing is. That if a medium says this, then I know it's that person. And I have that. I have been to many mediums over the years, and I have never heard one of three things that I have to connect with my sibling, my brother who had passed. I've never heard them say it. It's just never come through. So it doesn't mean the medium wasn't right or good or anything. It just, I haven't heard that. So I would tell you first to let go of any of those, if she or he says this one thing, let go of that, become aware of that, and just sit in, I'm open to receive. And you might even want to tell them, like, listen, I'm a processor because this is how I work. I need to process the messages. I'm hearing it, but I'm not really getting it. So you might also be a processor, which means that you just need to, like, give me all the information and then I'll sift through it later. It's frustrating for sure, but I can tell you there's really nothing you're doing wrong, other than probably just being very, very, very specific and waiting for, like, isn't this how it's supposed to go? I know I'm like that. I feel that I read as I want to be read, but there have been many people that I can't read or who are not satisfied with the messages. And that's frustrating and upsetting, but at the same time, it's a balance and you kind of have to let it go and let it be. So just open yourself up, recognize what you might be rigid on as far as those few things that you need to hear. Also something I do, and I hate when people do this to me, hate it. Like I get like almost mean, where, let's see, like, well, I was going to use an example, but that's not true. Like, I'll use this as an example, but I'll say like, oh, you have your grandmother's ring, right? And that person's like, well, yeah, doesn't everybody have their grandmother's ring? And it's like, no, not everybody has their grandmother's ring. Not at all. There's not even a ring to have for many grandmothers or people. So some people think certain things are like a given and obvious. And I hate when people do that. Like, well, yeah, doesn't everyone? Doesn't everyone's grandma make lots of food or everyone's mom? Here, Mom, I'm not being so nice to you here. Doesn't everybody's mother like totally make this big food spread? And I'd be like, no, mine didn't. That was not where her strengths were laid, nor are mine. So sometimes if you're thinking that certain things are a given, be aware of that because not everything is a given at all. By any means. So I hope that answers your question. Ina, you've been tuning in a lot. Hold on. What are auras and do I get auras? Auras are I love this, you guys, by the way. Thank you so much for like your interest in it and the fact that you even like care to ask questions. I just like, thank you for that because it's thrilling to me. But auras are the energetic imprint, if you will, of your being, your energy. I don't see auras. I have seen them, but I don't normally do. I'm not focused in on them. I teach an energy class where I can teach you very easily and quite quickly how to see them. I'm not plugged in on that level. So my readings are mostly like I'm listening to the other side and I'm plugged into the person's energy, but not the aura, so to speak. So I'm not necessarily seeing them. I do believe people can absolutely see auras. I do also feel that when you see like halos and old art, like medieval art, I believe that is actually them seeing an aura around people and not like the halo. It's just the energy of light. So I remember one time one of my sons said that the aura around, I won't say who, it's not you, Mom, so don't worry, but it was around someone. They said, I could see auras. That's what he said first. Mom, I could see auras. And I was like, oh, that's cool. You can see auras. That's good. What's so-and-so's aura like? And they were like, oh, it's purple and blue. And I'm like, okay, that's interesting. And then I said, well, what's this other person's auras like? And they were like, it's like muddy brown. And I remember being like, oh, you can see auras because that person's aura is totally muddy brown. It may or may not offend my ex-husband. I don't know. I'm not going to say. But it was absolutely a muddy brown. And I know you're laughing, but you know me by now. I hope he's not tuned in. That would be upsetting, but whatever. And it was true. So I was like, oh, wow, you can see auras. You got that one right on the head. And I don't talk about this stuff. I don't talk about auras to my kids so much. So I hope so. Do I get them? Not necessarily. I'm not plugged in on that level. Could I? Yes, but I actually don't really pay attention too much to that level. This is a great one from Kate. This question might be more for Dot. Is there anything special I should do for my toddler who seems connected to family members that have passed to keep her open to it as she gets older? Let's see. Dot, you want to weigh in? Here's the thing. I wrote this in my book, new book. The link for Amazon is somewhere here, and it'll be in the post after this, in the presence of proof. And it's all about the afterlife, and it's about my life. And the thing that was remarkable about what my mother did do, and she didn't force it on me. This was who she was, and I was such a great match to be her daughter, as I believe your daughter, Kate, is a great match for you. My mom had a tremendous interest in all of this, especially before my brother died, a total interest, but it really opened up after he died, and my mom can correct me if I'm incorrectly representing this. But her bookshelf, and I talk about this a lot in my book, her bookshelf was my early teachers, and everything on her bookshelf I consumed. And I was a very early reader. About 3 years old, I was reading. So I consumed everything on her bookshelf. And some were children's books. Fall of Freddie the Leaf was my favorite about the afterlife. And I knew exactly that book was intended to teach me at 3-4 years old about what happened to my brother on a really cool way. So if you have little kids that need to deal with death, Fall of Freddie the Leaf is the greatest children's book ever to describe death. So she encouraged that by just her example. And my mom, I could just say anything to her. I just expressed everything to her, and I never felt is that weird? Never felt that it was weird. She was so, I almost want to use the word impressed. You might want to be I was probably a pain in the ass. It was probably annoying. She was probably oh my God, shut up. Who cares? But she never was. She was really let me talk about theories that I had about about physics and the past and the present and future. And just that I just understood consciousness and things in a way that I thought were normal, because this was what my obsession was. And I was 11. I didn't know. Now that I have 11-year-olds and I'm oh my God, they're totally addicted to Fortnite 24/7. I'm starting to realize my obsession with Einstein wasn't all that normal. So I just keep it open. The one thing I do want to caution to all mothers is not to bring up, if you have a child that has suggested oh, there's Puppy or there's Grandma or this so-and-so on the other side, do not let them hear you tell that after the fact to someone else, to your spouse, to another family member, to the neighbor, because as soon as a connection is over, for myself to this day, the moment a connection with the other side is over, it feels, if I think back on it, it feels like I made it up. It feels like it didn't really happen. It feels like it was an imagination. Now I know that's not true. But as a kid, you don't know. You can't differentiate. So they will then hear you say this. Oh my gosh, she connected to Poppy and this one and that one. And then they're I don't think I really did. I think I made that up. And then they start to feel guilty. But then they see how excited you are and the person is, and they want to keep it going. And then they start to make it up just to make you happy. And that is a huge no. So never let them hear you say it to someone else. Never say, oh, tell Grandma that time that you saw Poppy and what Poppy said afterwards. You just cannot do that. It's very, very important. Otherwise, you will make a very, very crazy child, because they will feel guilt over something they think they forced. They think they lied. They'll have shame attached, and it gets very confusing. And then they'll just keep giving you what they think you want to hear, and it's not authentic mediumship at all. So be very careful and mindful of that. That's huge to me. That I've heard so many parents come to me and say, no. Young children at 14, 15, 16, you could really, really express it, and it's quite clear. So don't forget to let me know where you're tuning in from, and if this is your first time or if you're a groupie. I like my groupies. Also, there's a link to buy my new book in the comments, and I will also post it at the end of this in a new Facebook post. I also have a YouTube channel. I've had it for years and years and years. I filmed a lot of questions and just common questions about dreams and the afterlife and energy, and all of that is all on my YouTube channel. So make sure you click subscribe and leave me comments. Like, what do you want to know? Or you wish I delved into something more deeper. So absolutely, but tune into that. I just saw something about missing persons and now I can't find it. How do I know if I'm a dream? I don't know if any of us, you can't differentiate if any of this is a dream. And I do believe that, that it's all a dream. That's a whole other topic. It's a good one. I get this one a lot. Hold on. Let's see. Add to broadcast. Kelly. Georgia, cool. I'm seeing somebody's tuning in from Augusta. But Kelly, you're writing, do they take offense when you go into the reading looking for one specific person? Meaning if I go into here, I have to move it up. For my grandfather and the other grandfather family comes through, do they feel bad? Oh, another really fantastic question. I'm so glad you asked this. Right before I do any session, I go over a lot of this with you, because I want to make sure that you have some basic questions about how all of this works before we even go into your reading. And it's also a time for you to kind of settle down because most people are nervous. And I go over this and I share my experiences that many years ago, like over 20, which is really upsetting because I thought it was like 2 months ago. But anyway, I was going to a medium, and the medium is bringing through an uncle that I totally didn't care about. I didn't know. I have no connection to, nothing. And I had 2 or 3 other people and that I really would like to have heard from, but it was this uncle. So I was just like, that's annoying. And I didn't tell the medium, could you skip him? Could you move on? Because I felt bad. I felt oh, that's rude. But at the same time, I didn't listen to anything the medium told me because I didn't care because the source was not where I wanted it from. So I was a little bit of a jerk. And that happens. I now know that it happened to me because I know I want to calm your fears that, of course, you're coming to a medium to hear from a very specific person or people. Of course. 9 times out of 10, there's that one person, if not 4, that you really want to hear from. So that's normal. So no, they do not get upset if you say in a reading, oh, it's really great that Uncle Stan's here, but I don't want Uncle Stan. I really wasn't a fan. If he has something he needs to tell me, he could say it, but I don't want him taking up the whole reading. Totally say that. And I go over that before a reading. You can absolutely feel comfortable. He's not going to be upset. He's not going to haunt you. Any of that crap. He's not. It's just what happens is sometimes that's just the personality in that moment that is the loudest. And a lot of times, not all the time, but a lot of times I could just shift my focus to all right, Stan, you're there. Cool. We're happy you're here, but I really want to talk to this person and this person. And then I just shift my focus to other people. Sometimes I can't get someone to stop talking, and that's frustrating. It's frustrating for me. It's frustrating for the person. It's usually an in-law that you didn't like, that they're you're kidding me. My mother-in-law haunted me, when she was here. Now she's still doing that on the other side. That happens. So, no, but they're not taking offense. Their feelings are not hurt. It's just think, in terms of what I can focus on and what I can hear. So by all means, say to a medium, if that's happening, I'd really love someone else. And just know that sometimes the medium could go, okay, great, I'll focus over here. And sometimes we can't. The name of the children's book is, I was going to say In the Presence of Proof. That's, right here. No, right here. So, that's my book. That's not the children's book. It's The Fall of Freddie the Leaf by Leo Buscaglia. Buscaglia. The Fall of Freddie the Leaf. My all-time favorite. You can only get it on Amazon. It's not carried in bookstores anymore. Just completely love and adore that book. And it truly taught me it all. In a great download when I was 3, I understood what that book was trying to say. Okay. Hello, Donna. And oh my gosh, I feel like I'm romper room. I see Denise and I see Susan. I see Kate. Let's see. Oh, Arizona, Lisa. Let's see. I see Arizona. Oh, I see Eileen. Eileen is back from, where Where were you? Washington, D.C. So Lisa in Southern Arizona, there's significance of things falling off the walls. My 18-year-old passed away 2 years ago. Would that be messages for him? First, I'm so sorry to hear that, because that is just truly the worst of the worst in my book, having a child pass of any age. It could be. It absolutely could be. I am someone that really very much wants to keep people grounded. I want you to expand and believe and trust in a higher power and a higher energy and something beyond this realm. I want people to believe that, trust it, and know it more than anything else. However, I also want to keep people grounded and solid and steady in this world, because that's where we are and we need to be. So sometimes those things are just things falling off the wall. Absolutely. And it's just, who knows why? Maybe the sheetrock is getting weak, and, sometimes there's a logical explanation for those things. And I would always err on the side of logic, meaning if there's a logical explanation, then we're going to assume that logic is the reason. And that's for mental health, emotional health, and grounding and staying human. However, there are those times when logic doesn't apply. And I see it, I've heard it, I've experienced it, and you know the difference. So could it be? Absolutely. Are all of it? We don't know. Maybe not. But go by your feeling. Nope, that was a wink. That was a sign. That was him. You do know and trust your knowing for the most part. So thanks for tuning in too in Arizona. Let's see. Hold on, I'm reading a long one. One moment, please. Oh, I like this one too. Michelle Millman. Why does a friend who passed come to me in visitation dreams for a message for someone else? Is it because I'm opened to the message in the dream? You guys are asking some really good questions. Fabulous question. Because I get a lot of people that come to me and say, my neighbor has had a dream about my mom, and my mom's coming through and telling her to tell me that I'm okay. Or my sister doesn't even believe in this stuff, and my dad comes to her all the time. And so what that is a lot of times grief will block any awareness and ability to connect with anyone via a dream. Or you might be like I am, wired, like I really don't, not believe in dreams, my gosh, connect through dreams with the other side. So it would not surprise me that they will use anyone who can to get in their dream to get the message across. And they already know that you will give them that message, which is why they came to you in the dream. So are you more open? Yes. You're probably more open to the people who are less significant to you because you don't have grief around it. So it's very, very common, very, very normal to have these dreams and to be able to pass on those messages. I call you messengers, and they are deliberate. Sometimes people get mad, like, oh my gosh, the person before you, my son passed and my neighbor's got all these dreams and I don't even like the neighbor, and why is he coming to her or him? And the reason is because they can, and they know that person will get the message to you. So they're usually pretty deliberate. Having said that, if someone comes to you and it says, I had this dream and, so-and-so on the other side was really upset with you. And, if it gives you a feeling of anxiety with their message, I would doubt the message, to be honest. The other side is not going to invoke fear, doubt, mistrust, nerves. It's mostly, if not entirely, messages of you're okay, everything will work out. So be very cautious of those dreams that people who have it are interpreting in a negative or fearful way. So that's the only thing that I would caution you. And I'm not saying you are having this, Michelle, but if those dreams are saying like they're really not at rest and they're unhappy, that's something different. Totally, totally different. This is why I don't like when people share, because people freak others out. Like, oh my gosh, Deborah, so-and-so had this dream and they told me that my dad's really upset and what is he so upset about? I need to know, blah, blah, blah. And I want to make him happy and you're left unrest. And usually it's like, no, he's not upset at all. He's okay. He sees what's going on. So, yeah, there you go. There you have it. Let's see, it's another good one. Oh, from Kelly. I'm getting all of your questions, Kelly. Is it true that miscarriages are the babies deciding they don't want to be here? Another medium told me I lost my son because he said my baby daddy didn't deserve him and couldn't handle him. That's bothered me. Ew, that bothered me too. Let's clear some of that up. Yes, it is, but it's on a bigger level. So any child, whether it's aborted or miscarried for whatever reason, that baby chose you as the mother because it already knew what it was coming into this lifetime with and wanting. We have all chosen our parents. We picked the parents, biological parents, and if we were raised by another set of parents, we picked that whole storyline because those are the people that are going to initiate and start us off on our kind of life lessons or our contracts, if you will. I know that it's called contracts by some people. I don't normally use that word, but I've heard it. So all children pick their parents, including babies that don't stay. And it's not because you're not worthy. It's not because no one deserved them. It's really not because of that. It's because, nope, I wanted to come in and go right out. I didn't want to stay here this time. Not because of anyone specific. It's just they wanted in and out very quickly. So yes, they chose you, but it's not because that person didn't deserve them, because he might not have deserved them, but that doesn't, why didn't you deserve them? So I don't like that logic at all. It also invokes kind of fear. It invokes shame. It invokes guilt on all of it. And again, those are not messages the other side conveys at all, ever. So yes, they decided they didn't want to be here, but they already decided that beforehand. So I totally hope that helps you with that question. And it's not anything personal because you're 50% of the equation of his or her little, father. So they're not going to punish you for just his deeds. Then you get into karma and past lives and all of this stuff too. But just know that it's that little energy's life purpose was fulfilled, as well as you somewhere kind of asked for, and I put that in quotes because it's not a conscious asking, for the experience of losing and having a miscarriage. Why? We don't know. That's part of your life journey to delve into. But great, fabulous, amazing question. All right. Oh, here's a good one. Noreen. My parents were devout Catholics, not believers in mediums in life. Will they ever come through? Totally. One of the most thrilling experiences I've had as a medium is that very thing where that I see that people on the other side didn't believe, and they're constantly saying, you didn't think I'd show up. I didn't believe in this. I thought this was all crap. Or recently, and I think it was last fall, I was doing a fundraiser for a school, and the man that was coming through was the woman in the audience's husband, and the woman's daughter and the husband's daughter was in the audience. And the husband, I don't remember his name, but he kept saying he's so happy for her for the front stoops getting decorated. There's pumpkins and there's turkeys and then there's Christmas decorations. And I really didn't understand the message at all. Why was that so significant? She's like, yes, I do. And I'm thinking, oh, in my mind, my logical mind's oh, maybe she didn't have a house before where she was allowed to. So I was like, what is that? Why is he so happy that you finally get to decorate your front steps for the holidays? And she said he was a Jehovah's Witness and did not believe in decorating or honoring any of these other holidays. And so she didn't and couldn't when she was married to him. And that left such an imprint. And some of you might have been there at that gallery. And that left such an imprint wow. That is someone who totally didn't believe in any of this, completely didn't believe in mediums, and he came through loud and clear to his wife and his daughter, loud and clear in a very, very profound way. So absolutely they will come through. Yep. Now it might go to their personality. If they were not big talkers here in life, they might stay kind of quiet and observers in a reading. If they were loud and vivacious and bold, they're going to come through as loud and vivacious and bold. But our beliefs don't necessarily carry over into the other side, but our personalities will in a reading. So that's a fantastic question. So yes, they will come through, or most likely will come through. They can come through. I can never guarantee that someone totally is going to. How are we doing? Give it a thumbs up. How many of you, real quick, just write yes, book club, please, if you would be interested in joining a book club where we just talk about certain parts of my new book. Because I really want to make sure that I'm answering your questions and things that you might not understand in the book, that I give you the opportunity to really ask me directly. So for those of you who would really like to participate in a virtual book club just like this, it'll be more private. It's not going to be open to the public. So it's something we'll sign up for, either like a private Facebook group book or some other means. But I really want to know, because I want to know your questions are about the book itself or something that needed clarifying. I'm also beginning this in the beginning stages of planning a workbook to go along with the book, because I love workbooks. I'm constantly writing in books and constantly diving. I love questions that like really encourage me to go deep. And I want to know, what do you guys want to know from the book? What needs more work? What needs more development? And that will help me be able to create this workbook. So that's very exciting. Yeah, just write book club, yes, book club, so I know what you're referring to. Like if you just write yes, then I have to, well, now I know it's the book club, but yes to the book club would be fabulous. I also want to talk a little bit too about my meditation group that meets at my center in Newburgh, New York. I do virtual meditations as well, where you will see me through the screen. That's something through Zoom you can sign up for, and I'll put one on the calendar for November. But they're phenomenal, and they're phenomenal because of the group makeup. So if you are local and you can get to my one-on-one at the center, I highly encourage you to do that, because that's where we take all of this and put it into actual practical application. And we really discuss, our journey and our meditation and kind of our blocks and what's going on. And that's when I can really, really kind of dig deeper into everyone and really help with some intuitive guidance, just my gut, going, hey, this is what we need to focus on. This is what's happening. So I encourage you all to look at my website to find out when the next meditations are and try to pop in. They're $10 to join live, and they're $20, I think. A lot of you will remember, virtually online. I'll put one up in November for that. For those of you who are all over the country, that would be fantastic. I thought so too. I just saw Kelly. You said, for just side note, there's so many Kellys here tonight. I agree. There are a lot of Kellys. Am I like totally hitting the like Irish clan? I don't know. Am I? Chrissy, meditation's changed your daughter's life. That's so exciting to hear. It is life changing. If you want to make changes in your life and you don't know how or why, I'm telling you that meditation group is spectacular. Not because I run it. I mean, that's part of it. I'm pretty freaking great. No, I'm just kidding. I'm an asshole. But it's the group, it's the dynamic, it's the rawness, it's the realness. And you might be struggling with major anxiety and you don't want to tell anybody that, but you don't have to tell anybody that, because 4 other people in the room are describing their anxiety and it fits you to a T. You feel connected and you know exactly what they're going through and that you're normal, that you're okay. And then we talk about, how do we move through this? How do we get past that? How do we get rid of that? So again, my goal is to move forward and live better. How do we live better? By learning about ourselves, learning about the fact that what we think we have always done isn't necessarily what we should be doing. So there's a lot of unlearning of old habits. Samantha is your daughter. I love her. She's quite the artist too. She's amazing. And I get to know you in meditation. That's the other thing. I get to like have real contact and get to really know you on a deeper level, for sure. Sharon, I thought you would think that would be funny, that I call myself an a-hole. Yeah, if those of you who do want to do virtual meditation, just write yes, virtual meditations again. So that gives me another cue of like, okay, how much is the desire for these things? That's all I need to know. Am I planning a tour? Hold on, I'm putting that one up just because I like the word tour. I should be on tour, right? I should be on tour. I've kept myself very small and very much centered in the Hudson Valley of New York and, Connecticut, New Jersey, very, very close to home because my children are young and they're still young. They're teenagers. And I was single mom for a long time. And I kept everything small. I am absolutely wanting to branch out and move outward. And I have just hired a new staff, actually, to help me take everything to the next level. So this is all happening in October, November, December, and making plans over the next year. So anytime soon in the state of Florida, no, but within the next year, yes, absolutely moving and seeing everywhere again. I am planning a return to California within the year for sure. So not Florida, I know, but it is California. Let's see, virtual. Yes, good. So I'll post stuff on virtual meditation. And the virtual meditation, for those of you who have not attended, you still see me and I see you. So we're like in a, if you want to be seen. Otherwise, if you don't, people were just like pointing their laptops and cameras up on their ceiling fans, and you don't have to be seen on camera if you don't want to be. But it gives that classroom feeling, and I felt like very close to everybody. So that's that. The TV show. What happened to the TV show? Kathy, the TV show, they pitched it in a way that I did not want. I was very adamant that I am not the Long Island medium, and I do not go up to people or strangers in my daily life. I do not do it. I will not do it. I find that to be rude for me to assume that people wanted a message out of the blue. And they flipped the whole script of the show on me. They're wonderful people. I love them, but they were trying to sell it. They wanted to call it Psychic and Single. Get this, Psychic and Single. And I was like, but I'm not single. I'm not married, but I'm not single. And they're like, yeah, but nobody knows that. And I'm like, oh, well, that's not true. And that's okay. So what's the premise? And they're like, we want to set you up. Get this. We want to set you up with men. This was like 4 or 5 years ago, maybe 6 now. We want to set you up with men who don't know you're psychic, and you do a reading on your first date. And I was like, what? No, that's so not me. Like, I'm not the dating type. I don't want to be out on dates anyway. No, that's stupid. I would feel stupid. And, that's what they wanted to do. And I was like, that's not going to happen. I'm like, that might be a fun show, but not with me, because it's just so not my personality. I would just been a raving dork the whole time. Like, oh, I don't know. Plus they'd have to find everybody who's like 6'5" and over to even go on a date with me, which probably wouldn't have happened, but I'm just kidding. GK. So yeah, that ended that. They were amazing. I have some great footage of stuff that they did, but, I wouldn't sign a contract to something that's completely not in alignment with what I want, to portray. It is dumb. It was dumb. It was dumb for me. Maybe for another psychic that would totally fly. But, somebody with fake boobs and I don't know. It's just not me. I would be mortified. I would die. I'm just not the dating kind. I'm much more of a dork. Like, oh, you like me? What? Why do you like me? Let's see. Virtual meditation. That's great. Come to South Carolina. I would love to. I would totally love to come to South Carolina. I'd totally love to come to Virginia Beach. So I'd like to put that out there to the Edgar Cayce Foundation with my buddy Kevin. Okay, let's see. Oh, I like this. Veronica. I was told by a medium that my granddaughter, who is stillborn, was coming back in. My daughter has since had another daughter. Can the same soul come back into the same parents? Totally, yes. It is rare, so it is not common to come back into the same parents. It's not even necessarily common to come in the next generation or two. But there has been research shown that, yes, that is absolutely has happened and is possible. It's just not common. Carol Bowman is a friend of mine, and she's a past life regressionist, and she has a lot of information about this. Her book, Children's Past Lives, is phenomenal, and it talks about how she got into the field. She's also, like me, very much proof-based and logic-based, and she made a career, and she is a true professional in the past life regression department and area. She's in Philadelphia now, so I highly recommend. It's Carol Bowman, carolbowman.com. tell her I sent you and said hello. So yes, they absolutely can come back in the same lifetime. It's just not totally common, but there's total research done by Carol Bowman, and her predecessor, Ian Stevenson, did a ton of research on actual proof stories, mostly in the Middle East, in India, because that's past life regression and past lives and all of that is complete common knowledge, and it's not uncommon for children to be talking about who they were when they're older, because the culture supports discussions like that. Our culture is coming around to it, thank goodness, but it's still lacking. So our culture might not hear it as much as, say, a culture that you are born into where it's just totally normal. Any plans to come to Albany soon? Yes, there is. Stay tuned. Yes, that's all I can really say about that. But a meeting is happening next week. This week. For that very thing, for me to come back with a vengeance in Albany. So, yep, Jill, stay tuned. It'll be announced probably in the next 2 weeks or so, the details. Let's see. Yes, please, karma, past lives. What does it all mean? I know, it's so fascinating. I have a whole chapter on past life regression and past lives and karma and all of that. In my book, so you can check it out there. I try to make it very, very user-friendly. I don't want it to be such, like, conceptualized, like, what? I don't get it. I want people to get it on, like, normal, regular layman's terms. The glimpse, the short version is buy the book because I explain it in there. But we have lived before. We have been in form before, and our souls know that. And sometimes we actually have memory of it. A very good, true past life professional, regression professional, can regress you. And I always say it's like a lifetime of therapy in an hour. I spoke about past lives last time. Well, the time before we had this one. And I can't even tell you how much healing happened in a past life. And I wasn't even looking for anything to be healed. But if you have like bizarre fears of things or connections to people that you cannot understand positively or negatively, a regression is quite helpful. So I highly recommend it, but I only recommend it with a professional who has trained, and not somebody who took, and forgive me, but not somebody who took like a weekend class on how to regress somebody. I just don't think it's too sensitive of a topic to just kind of do it frivolously. Can you do it frivolously? Totally. I've done it frivolously. I've done guided meditations of a past life that are profound, but a real regression with a progressionist is, outstanding. Carol Bowman is the one I would recommend. Brian Weiss. If you can't get to either one of them, I would contact one of them to ask them who in your area would they recommend, because it's that important. Okay. Oh, how do you know? This is so nice. How do you know if you're on the earth for the last time? Raise your hand if any of you are. I'm putting it out into the universe like, I'm good. This is my last go around. This is the last time I'm doing this crap, because the human stuff is really annoying. I like my life. I've got a wonderful life. I live a life of purpose. I have a great leisure life, a great love life, I have a great life. I really do. And I'm freaking done with it. I'm over it. I'm good. Like, I don't need to come back. It's just like, I got the memo. I got the afterlife. I'm good. Right? So, how do we know? You don't. I don't think we do. No. And I think that the more we say we're not coming back, like I just did, means we're coming back. Because I don't know. I just think I don't know. I don't know that one. I have a theory. My grandmother died at 100 years old. And she used to say that she was going to die all the time. She was like, by the time she was 50, I'm ready to go. I've lived my life. I'm ready to go. And she lived to 100. So our family has this theory that the more we say we're ready to go, we're going to live to like 120. So it's kind of like the afterlife, or the next lifetime, where I'm like, I'm good. I don't want to do this again. I really don't. And I like life. Don't get me wrong. I like life, but it's like, Oh my God. Can I just get all the lessons? Well, I don't want all the lessons all at once. Let's let the universe take care of that. Or not take care of that. Ooh, what's this? Can you create a review page for those of us that bought your book directly? Will show Omega they need you. You know what? Write to Omega. Please. It's been a life dream just to work at Omega. My mom did a workshop there with Elizabeth Kubler-Ross many years ago after my brother died, brought me with her. I don't remember it, but I know the story that I was with her, and I just feel a connection. And it is the largest, most profound, amazing spiritual retreat center in the world. And I adore Elizabeth Lesser more than anyone can express and comprehend as who she is as a woman, and a woman in business, and a woman on the planet, somebody who wants to make a purpose but make a real living and life for herself. I think she's super balanced, and I adore her. I know she's Oprah's like mentor and spiritual advisor, but she is like my Oprah. So Elizabeth Lesser, I would like you to just reach out to Omega and say, hey, guess what? You guys need to have Deborah Hanlon there. That was what you can do. And I'm totally serious about that because you brought it up. I wouldn't have brought it up, but since you did, that would help me. Say, hey, Omega, what is going on? That would be fantastic. Yes. I have a very exciting guest coming up on my podcast in November. Can't really say. It's not Elizabeth Lesser, but maybe she'll hear this and she could be a guest. That would be cool. But I have some cool stuff coming up. A lot of it. I'm not sleeping because I have so much going on, but that's fun. All right. Let's see. So thank you, Melanie. Yes, please write to Omega, all of you. Is my book available on Amazon? Yes, there's a link somewhere here. I will also post the link. It's called In the Presence of Proof. See? Oh, no, it's over here. Sorry. Wow, that's so weird. It's weird. I really thought it was over here, but it's not. So it's In the Presence of Proof, and you can just Google it onto Amazon, and yep, it'll be at your door in 2 days. So, or you could purchase it from me directly at my center or at any of my events, my galleries and workshops. It's available there as well, but you can get it much faster if you just go on Amazon. And once you do buy it on Amazon, you can leave a review for it, which is what I need. Okay, what's the name of your podcast? I've been looking for new ones lately and I'd love to listen to mine. Thank you. I'm still playing it around. Playing it around? No, I'm not playing it around. I'm playing around with it. Intuitive View is one, and the other one was Intuitive You, and it's kind of a play on words. So Intuitive View kind of sounds of one of both, or Intuitive You, but it will be Intuitive View with Deborah Hanlon or Intuitive You. I will post all over. So you need to have, oh, thanks, Greg. He just posted the link to my book. Thank you. You need to click like on this page to make sure that you're included in all this, and you'll be notified of any Facebook Live. Also, to be included in a book club that's private and only for those who are interested, you have to click like so that I can, I can only advertise it to my friends or my people on Facebook. And then you could subscribe to the YouTube channel that's also here, so that you can get a lot of more answers with other questions and kind of look through all the past ones. You'll be able to see all sorts of like gnarly hairdos that I had that I'm like upset about. And it was only like a couple years ago, but whatever, it happens. And what else? The Amazon link, the YouTube channel, this channel, Instagram. I'm liking Instagram. That gives you more of a sneak peek in my life as far in photos. My kids are on that, and that's at I am Deborah Hanlon, like the letter I, the letter M, it stands for Intuitive Medium Deborah Hanlon. So at I am Deborah Hanlon on Instagram and Twitter, but I totally don't do Twitter. So my stuff just happens to get posted to Twitter, and it's just happening organically, but I don't do anything with Twitter. What else? So much. I'm going to have a couple of workshops in November and December. I have a gallery the Saturday after Thanksgiving. It is my annual sort of family holiday gallery that I do. And I believe it's open on my website for tickets for that. And that's super, super, super limited. I think it's shut off at like 30 or 35 people. So that's the Saturday after Thanksgiving. So if you have family in the area, and you might want to sign up sooner than later. Yeah, and I'm liking this, and I'm thank you. You guys are saying great show, having fun. You love this. I'm so excited. I am nothing without people who care. So you want to hear stuff. I am so grateful that you guys want to hear what I have to say, because my kids don't want to hear what I have to say, and it makes me feel excited. And I really truly do love to share this. I love to empower people. I love to let you know there's so much more, because I know I've been caught into the BS of life, and sometimes it's like, what is the point of this? And there's a big point. There's a point, and you have control over it, and I want to be that person to help you kind of get out of your own way and help you see things in a higher, better light. That is truly all I'm here for. I have no other interests but this, and people and their growth and their honesty, your vulnerability, your grief. I take that so to heart, and I'm so beyond grateful that people trust me with it, and that I can take you and help you take yourself to the next level. So that's what all of this is about. And I think that's it. I mean, I'm going to think of like 8,000 things I could have gone over. YouTube channel, the book, like this page, share this page with a friend who you think would be interested or get something out of it. I'll do this once a week. This is fantastic. It has been a whole hour with no sound. Oh, an hour and 15 minutes. Holy crap. And with no sound or visual interruptions. So that's amazing. And I believe I will do this again next Monday. It's Columbus Day next Monday. So Sunday I have meditation. Sunday meditation at the center, 7 p.m. Just show up in Newburgh. And Monday night, I'll join you again. And any last minute things. I think that's it. And what's Nanette's question? I didn't hear. I didn't see it. But hold on to that question and post it next time, and then I'll address it, because I just saw someone say something. Can you please answer that question? So good night, everybody. Thank you again. And I will see you wherever soon. Thank you so much. Don't forget to leave a review on Amazon if you have that moment and you've purchased your book on Amazon. Good night. Bye.